Hello everyone and welcome to the live stream. I hope that you're all doing good. Tonight, we're going to be hanging out for a little while. I have a bunch of different things to talk about. Some that are follow-ups to situations that I've either done videos on or talked about in other live streams, and some new situations, some that are not very surprising, like journalists attacking games, but some that are, in my opinion, very positive. Like, specific types of people deciding to quit the Knights of the Old Republic remake. I have to say, guys, that is the highlight of my day. I'm gonna be honest. So, tonight, we're going to be talking about more regarding Ubisoft and NFTs. Over the past couple of weeks, I've mainly kept it to live streams, but there's been a lot of news about Ubisoft wanting to really push NFTs in games. They've doubled and tripled down on the idea of shoving NFTs in people's faces. They launched Ubisoft Quartz. After like 2 or 3 weeks, it literally only made like $700 for them. It was an absolute disaster for them. People clearly spoke, and the people have said, fuck NFTs. But it's like they're quadrupling at this point down, because internal Ubisoft comments were leaked, highlighting the deep division regarding NFTs. So even though publicly they've kind of taken a step a little bit back from NFTs, it looks like they are doubling, tripling, quadrupling it down, and they really, really want to push these into their games. We're going to be talking about the Knights of the Old Republic remake. Now, I talked about this a couple of months ago, back in September, when it was officially announced, and we unfortunately heard that they had a few social justice activists working on the game. One specifically, who was a former Mary Sue writer, and was pretty vocal on social media, and that was Sam Maggs. It was very disappointing and worrying to hear that they had hired this individual for the Knights of the Old Republic remake, primarily because it is one of my favorite games of all time, and I was really, really hoping that the remake would be good. But when you hear about people being put onto projects who are kind of known in the industry for forcing specific things, narratives into games, it was worrying to hear. But apparently, she has quit the Knights of the Old Republic remake, and we don't specifically know why, but we can guess, okay, that she probably wasn't getting her way and getting the things changed in the game that she wanted, so she decided to quit. And oh my god, when I heard this, I was already feeling very positive, I'm gonna be honest. But she decided to go to a company that, of course, would suit her needs better. She decided to go work for Wizards of the Coast. They can have her. They can keep her. You know, Wizards of the Coast, I've already given up on you. A long time ago, I gave up on you. So feel free. Feel free. Highlight of my fucking day. Maybe even the highlight of the week for me. Maybe even the month. I don't know, guys. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about, of course, nothing fucking surprising, game journalists shitting on games. I wish I could say I was surprised. And I'm a little surprised, actually, with Horizon Forbidden West, because we know that this is a game that game journalists have been shilling for, basically. They were so happy and excited that they defeminized and they unfeminized Aloy. They were so happy that they changed the way that she looked. They made her look more masculine. She gained some weight. They changed her character design completely. And they were shilling for this game, saying how great that was and how positive that was, even though a lot of people were a little bit disappointed. But now, of course, they're changing their tune with Forbidden West, and they're accusing the development team and also the game of Native American cultural appropriation. These developers, we know, changed a lot with character models to try to appeal to these game journalists who were outraged over Aloy's original design and some of the females' original designs. And of course, it was not enough for the journalists, because now they're finding something fucking else to attack this game over. We're also going to be talking about Lord of the Rings. Over the past few days, I've talked about Lord of the Rings in live streams, in a couple of videos, but I wanted to talk about the Outrage again, the new trailer that was released and how furious people are over it, and how, of course, the Rings of Power trailer is getting absolutely roasted on YouTube. The ratio hasn't stopped, so I wanted to just kind of talk about Lord of the Rings again, mainly because I've only talked about it once in a live stream, or twice in a live stream, and everyone's got a lot of opinions over it, so I thought we could discuss that as well. So, welcome to the live stream, everyone. I hope that your evening is going well. In a couple of minutes, we'll get started with the topics, but first, hi. What's everyone up to tonight? How are you all doing? We'll get started soon. Yeah, nothing is ever enough for these game journalists, and it's unfortunate that developers have to go through this because I understand to a certain extent developers want to make a game that's going to reach as many people as possible. Developers, when they see a major outlet like a Kotaku or all of the other many fucking shill sites like The Gamer, when they see those websites giving their game negative rating and being skeptical of their product, yeah, of course it's going to make them worried because they want to get positive reviews from those journalists so that hopefully they can sell more copies of their game. But at the same time, like I always freaking say, it is never enough to these people with game journalists, with people who are outraged over every little thing in the gaming industry. Nothing you do is ever going to be enough for them, so you shouldn't change your product, because when you change one thing for them, they're gonna find something else to complain about, and then something else after that to complain about. Which is unfortunate. It sucks, because a lot of people were looking forward to Horizon Forbidden West. The first game was pretty good. But of course, they started changing around the content in their game, character designs, outfit designs for these people who are now furious over something else, accusing these developers of being some kind of doing, you know, oh, it's cultural appropriation because you didn't do this and that right. Of course. No fucking surprise there. Yep, throw journalists a bone and they'll want the whole damn steak. It's true, unfortunately. This is why game developers shouldn't bend over backwards to please specific groups of people. They should create the content they want and just have it be that. It doesn't matter what you want. It doesn't matter if you're an SJW or an anti-SJW. In my opinion, developers should just do what they want. And if I don't like the content and I don't agree with it, I just won't support them. I'll say my piece, say I'm not going to support this project because of X, Y, and Z, and move on. Yes, I think that it's different when we're talking about gameplay itself and mechanics themselves. I do think that developers should obviously listen to consumers, but just the basis of a game, if you're going with a story, either go 100% with it or don't do it at all. Don't give in to outrage. Just do whatever you want, but go 100% all in with it. Don't backtrack. Oh, well, we're going to change this and that. When it comes to gameplay itself, if something's wrong, something's not working properly, and people think it's shit, yes, then you should change it, because obviously you have players who are saying this isn't right, it's not working, it's broken. But if you're going to do something and go with a story, just go for it. And don't back out of it because oh, a game journalist got mad at us. A game journalist doesn't like this. We got one bad review because, oh, we're being accused of appropriation. There are people out there who are not going to be happy no matter what you do, no matter what you create. So why are you worried about what they have to say, though? New games since 2016 have largely been limited in creativity due to SJW culture. Sometimes it's kind of hard to say because there are still a lot of developers out there who do what they want. We do know a lot of companies do have people behind the scenes that are part of projects that do want things to be a specific way and can alter things in a specific way, but it's not at every company, but it is a lot of the major companies. I'll support Martha is Dead, but not on PlayStation because I want to support the devs as they are an indie team. That's a really good example of supporting a game just on a different platform, because I had made a video a couple days ago on the Martha is Dead situation, and people were like, oh, you're calling for a boycott. I'm not calling for a boycott. I'm not saying don't support the game at all, but if you're gonna support it, I would highly recommend you support it on another platform besides PlayStation, because on PlayStation, it's censored, it's toned down, there's content missing from it. I think that if you want to buy the game still, go for it. These developers still put a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of effort into it. Just, I would say don't support it on PlayStation, because then you're supporting PlayStation censorship, and you're not showing the developers that it's okay to release the game that they want. Because then if, let's say they make most of their sales on PlayStation, then they're gonna go, oh, well, I guess people do like the toned down content. And then in their next game, the game after that, they're gonna tone down a lot of their content. And that's a problem. I don't agree. Game devs change game mechanics to appease the masses all the time. I mean, if we're talking about changing game mechanics that are broken and buggy and glitchy, and they're fixing them, and you're saying that that's changing them, then yeah, because if a game's unplayable, or there's a lot of mechanics in the game that people don't like that could be slightly tweaked and made much better, then yeah. But if you're talking about, like, changing game mechanics, like, of difficulty to, like, make it easier for people to play, it doesn't really happen that often. Yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Journalists went hell and high water to get people to not buy it, but it sold well, and the game also received a lot of praise for its mechanics. Yeah, it's a great example. There were a lot of people that were outraged over it, mainly game journalists who were trying to get other people outraged over it, and it sold really well, and it was a really popular, successful game. I don't know exactly how many copies of it were sold, and how much money they made from it, but I do know that it was successful. They did sell a lot of copies of it. Cyberclunk. Funny enough, today, actually, they did a short, like, Cyberpunk live stream. They announced that they're releasing the new generation, the new console generation versions of it, the PlayStation 5 and the Series X versions of the game. But they also announced that they released patch 1.5, which is some giant update, which is good. It added new apartments to the game, it added new weapons, new cosmetics, they fixed a bunch of stuff in the game. They completely reworked, like, the hacking system, the Ripper Dock system, they reworked the driving mechanics. I'm gonna replay it soon. I don't know if I'll do it on stream. Would you guys want to see me replay Cyberpunk on stream at some point? Obviously after, like, Elden Ring, Horizon Zero Dawn, or Horizon Forbidden West, excuse me, and then Stranger of Paradise comes out, but maybe after that. But they did actually release 1.5, which is a giant fucking update, apparently, which is pretty cool. Yeah, patch 1.5 is pretty hefty. But, alright, you guys, let's start with the first topic of the evening, which is going to be NFTs. Now, I've talked about Ubisoft and NFTs on the channel quite a few times at this point. I personally am not sold on the idea of NFTs in games. I am someone who's very skeptical of NFTs in games, and while I do try to give companies a chance to implement new systems into games and bring in new ideas into the industry, and I want to be positive about them, unfortunately, NFTs just seem like the same shit, different day from game companies. It's this new thing that they want to try, but ultimately they don't care about adding things to games that are positive. They just care about adding things to games to make as much money as possible. And Ubisoft has been a company that has been scrutinized a lot over the past few months over NFTs, primarily because they started Ubisoft Quartz Beta. It made them less than $1,000 within a couple of weeks of it launching, and people were not in support of it. It's like they just started shoving NFTs into games overnight, and a lot of people weren't convinced over it. But an internal Ubisoft comments leaked highlighting deep division regarding NFTs. So while publicly over the past few months they have talked about NFTs and how they feel really confident in the future of NFTs in games, They behind the scenes are doing a hell of a lot more than we had even known. So, it says numerous internal comments from Ubisoft's message board, Mana, were leaked online, giving a much clearer picture of how Ubisoft employees are handling the shift to NFTs with their Ubisoft Quartz project, especially in light of how thoroughly hated the concept of NFTs are by their customers. For me, a problem with the ideas of NFTs in games is that these companies are trying to say, oh, it's a big investment. It's gonna pay off for you guys, basically. Oh, you have to put some money forward, but it's a big investment, even though we know that that's basically bullshit. And I'm not sold on the ideas of NFTs in games. And none of these companies are making me feel very confident in it. While they're saying, oh yeah, it's gonna be great for the gaming industry, this is good, that is good, they're not being realistic, and they're not telling people realistically the problems with NFTs and what could go wrong, because of course that makes it seem like a terrible idea to other people who don't know about NFTs in games. It's of course one of those situations where they're only explaining the positive side of things, not the more likely negative side of things. It says when news of the leak became public, one employee said it was a deeply embarrassing day to work at Ubisoft. Jason Schreier posted the article to Twitter and provided some key quotes from Ubisoft's internal message board named Mana, taken from a memo whereby employees could ask questions about NFTs and the blockchain. I do not like Jason Schreier. I am blocked by Jason Schreier on social media. I do not know why it is always Jason Schreier we have to hear about. But guys, it's okay, because soon I'm going to be starting my own Bloomberg Gaming Kotaku alternative. I'm officially a game journalist. I'm labeling myself it now, guys. I'm a game journalist. That's all that they do. It's not like they did anything special. They just are a self-proclaimed game journalist, you know? I'm ready, guys. I'm taking the next step. I'm dyeing my hair blue. I'm starting a Kotaku alternative. I'm ready. Okay. Are we competing with EA for the most hated game studio by the public title? Because this is how you do it. Holy shit, they're getting fucking roasted by their own employees. And honestly, chef's kiss, I think that this is hilarious. It's true. EA is one of the most hated game companies in the industry, and a big reason why was because of the way that they promoted and shoved loot boxes into games. And now, companies are starting with something new. Besides loot box, they're going for NFTs. And Ubisoft, yes, I understand Ubisoft sees it as a way to get money in the gaming industry and a way to potentially grow their revenue. But they have gone from 1 to 100 so freaking quickly with NFTs, it's going to make them even more hated than they already are. And there are a lot of people out there who do not really like Ubisoft. But now there's even more people. This week, Ubisoft posted a defense of NFTs on its internal message board. The employee responses were not pretty. I feel like this is the problem, is that companies say that they're going to do something, and they double, triple, quadruple down on it, even though they're not proving how it could be positive, how it could be successful, how it could help people. Yeah, guys, I'm going full Tila. I'm gonna shave half the side of my head. I'm dyeing the other half blue. I'm ready for my awakening. Okay, I'm done. Another employee said, just wanted to say that this post actually makes me quite proud to be a member of Ubisoft, because I've never seen such unity in a comments thread before in my life. That is too fucking hilarious. So this employee is basically saying there's so many people that have come together to hate NFTs behind the scenes and also publicly, that I've never seen so much unity, and I'm very proud to be a Ubisoft employee, not because something worked, not because something was positive, but because everyone collectively fucking hates the idea of NFTs in gaming. That is too funny. It says, Ubisoft Strategic Innovation Lab has received a lot of feedback, and we take that encouragement as well as the concerns to heart. Sure you do, Ubisoft, sure. How players can benefit is and always will be at the core of our thinking. Sure, dude. You keep telling yourself that. At Ubisoft, we value these internal exchanges and think they help make our games and our company stronger. However, sharing confidential information, including from internal forums, is a violation of our employment agreement and, more importantly, a violation of the trust that team members place in each other to be able to freely express themselves. No one cares about what you want, Ubisoft. When people are upset and they want to save their reputations in the eyes of the public, of course they're going to leak things online. It's just the way that it goes. You guys might have this internal board where people can talk about their problems. Of course that's going to be leaked because everyone is coming together behind the scenes to hate it, and these developers want to look good in the eyes of the public. It's just the way that it goes. I understand what they're saying, that yeah, it is a violation of the employment agreement. But if people feel like they don't have a future at a company, they're not really going to care about an employment agreement. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Thank you, Robin Fox, for the NZ20. Just wanted to send you a nicely sized tip today and offer all my encouragement to you. Never let the bastards get you down. Keep on rocking. Love, Mr. Fox. Well, thank you so much for the support. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. I do really appreciate it. It says, while not every post from the memo thread was shared, Bloomberg provided a few interesting comments. Like I've said, guys, I do not care about Jason Schreier. I do not care about Bloomberg. I do not care about Kotaku, The Gamer, whatever. I do not care about any of these websites. But it is what it is. Are we competing with EA for the most hated game studio by the public title because this is how you do it? It's true, it is how you do it. I think the kids call this entire comment section being ratioed. Lol. Reminds me of what Chris Rager said. I don't even know what a ratio is. I have to look it up. Okay, Chris Rager, sure. This feel pretty fucking bad, getting ratioed. What? Seriously, our confidence in management was already shaken by the handling of harassment cases, and now this? You know what else makes a lot of money? Making fun, spectacular, groundbreaking blockbusters. Why don't we focus on that instead? I don't know who this developer is that made this comment, but fucking clap to you, and I wish I knew who you were so I could support any projects that you were part of. I love this. This is the type of developer that I want to fucking support. Someone saying something like this. You know what makes a lot of money? Making fun, spectacular, groundbreaking blockbusters. Why don't we focus on that instead? As you guys can see, of course, their identities were kept anonymous, and the posts were kept anonymous so that they don't get in trouble and get fired. But even behind the scenes, Ubisoft employees hate the idea of the NFTs that they're pushing. So that's all that I really had to discuss with that. Ubisoft's been making a lot of comments on NFTs lately, been doing a lot of shit on NFTs lately, so I'm sure at some point here, I will end up talking about Ubisoft and NFTs in the gaming industry yet again. But that's all that I had to talk about for today. We'll see what else happens in the future. So, we'll move on to the next topic in a minute, which is going to be the best news I've had in a week, a month, this year. This is, I don't know what gaming gods above granted us this amazing news, but I'm praying to you that you keep up the good work, gaming gods. This is this is great. This is the most excited I've been about gaming news in so fucking long. Yes. I'll talk about it in a minute. Now this game could still fucking suck, but at least I have just I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful now. A little bit more hopeful. Quit reminding me of how shitty the Dragon Ball voice actors are. Yeah. I'm sorry. I talked about it during one of my last live streams. But Chris Rager, who is the Dragon Ball voice actor that attacked me last week, he, on social media, on, like, the thread where he called me a cunt and insulted my hair and the way that I look, He was hiding shit tons of responses. He was hiding a ton of comments on his tweets. Not surprising. I mean, he's a little bitch. I might be a cunt, but at least I'm not a little bitch. At least when I say things, I say them with my chest and actually mean them. And at least I know proper fucking grammar. I feel a little bit back and forth with the Disney using Han and Leia's honeymoon to advertise Star Cruiser. And my problem with that is that clearly, yes, it's just a marketing ploy. It's just a way to get people to check out Star Cruiser and buy new products and consume products. But my only thing with that is that at the same time, at least they're using good characters and good stories. You know what I mean? Like, on one hand, yeah, we can see through it. It's not like they actually give a fuck about Han and Leia's honeymoon and telling a good story with that. But I'd much rather see stories about Han and Leia and, like, romance and, like, love and these amazing characters than see a fucking story about, like, Rey and Kylo. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of iffy on it. I don't know. What exactly is the Mary Sue website? Yes, it is a SJW-leaning website. He's just very scared of you, Vera. Honestly, I'd be scared of me too. Yeah, a lot of voice actors. There are some really, really great voice actors out there. Do not get me wrong. I am not calling out every voice actor ever. There are some great fucking voice actors out there. But there are some voice actors that are just so shit. They're just mean-spirited people, you know? True, KOTOR still might be shit. But there's clearly a reason why she left. And we can all figure it out. Which is why I'm feeling positive about the situation. But alright guys, let's move on to the next topic of the evening. Now, as you all know, Knights of the Old Republic is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Knights of the Old Republic. I recently did a live stream of it. I did a whole playthrough. Maybe one day soon I'll do KOTOR too. But I love Knights of the Old Republic. And I initially was very, very excited to hear about them doing a Knights of the Old Republic remake. And then within 24 hours of the remake being officially announced, we heard that Sam Maggs was working on the KOTOR remake. Sam Maggs is she was a former Mary Sue writer. She's a social justice activist. She's a generally not so nice person on social media who will attack people with opinions that are different than hers. And this was an article from back in September when this was first announced, so I figured that we could re-go through this. But she has announced that she has quit the Knights of the Old Republic remake, and I'm very happy. Former The Mary Sue writer and social justice activist Sam Maggs announced that she is and has been working on the newly announced Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. The KOTOR remake was announced at the PlayStation Showcase 2021, where the game's lead producer, Ryan Treadwell, made it abundantly clear the game is a complete remake. Now, this is obviously kind of worrying wording, because, yes, there are things that they could do in it that could rejuvenate it, like making multiple combat systems, like having the turn-based combat from the original game and maybe also having a way to switch to action combat. Like, that would be pretty cool. But there's a lot of things that need to stay the same, like having at least an option for the original combat, if not just having the original combat be the only combat system in the game. the storylines, the way that characters interact with each other, many, many things that could very quickly ruin this remake. And it says, this is a complete remake of this beloved Star Wars story for Star Wars KOTOR Remake. We are rebuilding from the ground up while maintaining the integrity and story from the original. This is pretty good phrasing, in my opinion. They're saying that while they are rebuilding everything from the ground up, they want to maintain that original story, the mechanics. They want to try to make it a new version of KOTOR while also being original KOTOR. I don't think that this is a very worrying statement, in my opinion, but it says, you know, the original KOTOR is a true classic and one of our favorite Star Wars stories ever. We want to honor that original story and make it as impactful for players today. This is a little bit worrying, because while they want to honor the original story, they want to make it impactful for audiences today, which kind of equates to modern audiences and changing things for modern audiences. It says, in terms of the visuals, we have the opportunity to present this story with a much higher level of fidelity, that was possible in the past, while making sure that we're being authentic to what players loved about that original game. It says, though, in an interview, he also reiterated, our big goals on this are to bring the story to a modern audience and have it be as impactful today as it was for players when it originally launched. So, of course, while some of the statements made initially are good, some of them were not so good. But then, unfortunately, we found out that Sam Maggs was going to be part of this series. She was going to be one of the writers, and if you do not know who Sam Maggs is, she was a former The Mary Sue writer. She was one of the people who wrote one of the bisexual main characters in Anthem, and in this series and that series. She worked on Mass Effect, she worked on Anthem, she's worked on quite a few games, and she's pretty known in the gaming industry for social justice. She is a self-proclaimed social justice activist. She's made comments before like, fighting the patriarchy makes me hungry, so I'm gonna sit in the kitchen while my male partner cooks dinner. I mean, you can see. She even fucking admitted that, isn't KOTOR your favorite? No. Then why were you working on it? I would fucking die to have a chance to do anything regarding Knights of the Old Republic, and so many people would. So many people love KOTOR. So wouldn't you think they'd hire people who love KOTOR, feel passionate about KOTOR? This is also someone who has said in the past that she doesn't really care that much about Star Wars, but she's made many, many tweets over the years about fighting the patriarchy, and some of the worst professional experiences I've had involved white women with internalized misogyny doing the work of the patriarchy. Guys, people have made some comments like that about me before. They've said that I have internalized misogyny, and I do the work of the work of the patriarchy, basically. So maybe that's another reason why I don't like her. Is because she runs around calling people ists and phobes and, oh, you have internalized misogyny and you represent the patriarchy, basically. But in some pretty positive news, I'm not gonna lie, she has announced that she quit the Knights of the Old Republic remake. And she didn't officially announce why she quit the remake. She basically just said, I'm not on the Knights of the Old Republic remake anymore, that's it. But she announced the new company she's going to work for, and I'm gonna be honest, it's too funny. So it says, social justice activist Sam Maggs, a former writer at the Mary Sue, announced that she quit working on the KOTOR remake. Maggs previously announced her involvement in the series back in September when the game was announced by Aspyr, tweeting, "It's actually happening." In a subsequent tweet, she said, "Could not be more honored and excited to be part of an incredible team at Aspyr to remake one of my all-time favorite games ever," even though she had literally fucking tweeted out KOTOR wasn't one of her favorite games. and wasn't one of her favorite Star Wars games, which is very suspicious. But it says, however, on her website, she now claims she quit after working on the game for 9 months. She wrote, I was on this project for like 9 months in 2021 and then I quit. You're gonna be okay if you email or message me about it. I won't see it. My filters are really good. So she's basically saying, I quit after X amount of months. After 9 months, I decided to quit. Don't email me about it because I'm not going to answer you. I'm not going to tell you. Seems a little suspicious. Seems like she might be a little bit angry. Seems like she might be a little bit salty. Now, again, we do not know why she decided to quit and why she ultimately decided to not be a part of this project. But one can assume that a reason why she decided to quit and a reason why she decided to not be a part of this project anymore could be because she wasn't getting what she wanted out of this project. It's not confirmed or anything, but it's pretty easy to assume that she was a writer on this project. She had a lot of ideas. She is very SJW leaning. She might have wanted very specific things to be part of this story. She might have wanted drastic changes to the story. But to me, it comes across as she wasn't getting her way, so she decided to quit. And she won't talk about it. That's the thing. It's like if she decided to leave in a positive manner and just basically said, I started working on the project. It just really wasn't for me, but I had a good time while working on it. You'd think that she'd maybe do an interview or two about it, make a comment about it. Another thing that people think is maybe they fired her and she just decided to say, oh, I quit, because she doesn't think that anyone at Aspire is going to make any statements on it. So she could basically say, I quit instead of I was fired. So she either quit, she was fired, whatever the case may be, though. I think that she probably just wasn't getting her way and she wasn't getting the things that she wanted, the changes that she wanted, and so she's not working on it anymore. But it's not even just that that's interesting to me. Yeah, it's also been rumored from another YouTuber that her contract expired on the project. We don't know if that's true. I mean, at this point, it's got to be one of the very, very few things. Most likely her contract did expire, and they didn't decide to continue working with her. But it's always funny to see someone leave a project and then go to a company that is 10 times worse. Now, she decided to go and work for one of the most wokier than thou companies, Wizards of the Coast. She is now a narrative lead on their digital publishing and licensing team. You know what? Good for her. Getting a job at a company that's going to push the narratives that she wants. WotC, you can keep her. I think a lot of us are not afraid to admit the fact that we've given up on WotC, and I've talked about Wizards of the Coast a lot over the past few years. If you don't know, Wizards of the Coast is Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering. And Wizards of the Coast has gone very, very woke. I've given up on a lot of Wizards of the Coast products. I don't really support Wizards of the Coast anymore. It's unfortunate because I do like Magic the Gathering, I do like Dungeons & Dragons, but they've decided to make a lot of changes over the past couple of years, and I don't really support them anymore. But she decided to go and work at Wizards of the Coast. WotC, you can keep her. Wizards of the Coast, you can have her. I mean, hey. Ultimately, she can work where she wants to work. She can work on whatever product she wants to work on. I think it's hilarious, though. I don't care about what happens at Wizards of the Coast anymore. I've given up on them. I have no love in my heart for them anymore, really. So, see you later. It's, at least to me, kind of funny. But Sam Maggs is now working at Wizards of the Coast. She's a narrative lead, so you can only imagine what type of work she's going to create. But, yeah. She's not working on the Knights of the Old Republic remake anymore, which is positive news in my opinion, because this game, the KOTOR remake, can still be a disaster. Let's be honest. The remake could still be woke. They could still have a bunch of other people working on it that want to push this narrative into the game, that want to change a bunch of things about it. I'm not saying that this completely means that everything's super positive and great and awesome, but it does make me not feel so hesitant about the game and about supporting the game. She's one of the main people we knew that was on the team that had influence, that had these narratives that they wanted to push into titles. And now she's off the project. I'm feeling personally a little bit relieved, a little bit happy. This is some good news, in my opinion. Guys, my wallpaper on my computer is still KOTOR. I'm feeling a little happy about it. She wasn't canceled. She didn't get kicked off of the project because people demanded her be kicked off. She left because she wanted to leave, or maybe her contract ran out and she was just lying to the internet. Regardless, she still has a career, so I don't have to feel bad that she's off this project. See you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Kat. Vera, your content is on point. I liked your video, but someday please do a Let's Watch stream of Lord of the Rings trilogy. I do not think I could ever do that, though, because it would probably get struck down. But thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Guys, if you're enjoying the live stream, give it a like. We're at 87 likes. Let's get to 100 likes. If you're enjoying, check out the links in the description. Support the channel. The YouTube memberships. Become a YouTube member. Next week, I'm going to be doing a supporter-only stream, guys. So if you are a Dark Titan via Patreon or a Dark Titan via YouTube memberships, you get access to that if you're a donator. Also, donate via Streamlabs. All donations pop up with a notification. $3 or more. Text-to-speech activates. All the support really does help. On YouTube, we have 3 or 4 different membership tiers. On Patreon, we have a ton of membership tiers. But yeah, support the channel. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated. Thank you, Christoph, for the $10 super chat. Very, you should write these. It would be better. I'm not sitting here saying I'm some, like, creative genius, right? But I know a lot of Star Wars source material. And, I have replayed the original Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 games many times. They are my favorite games of all time. I play the Star Wars The Old Republic MMO. I know a lot about the Old Republic era, and I could probably write better stories than these people can. Ultimately, you shouldn't even have to worry about writing a new story because they should be following the original story. But if they need a little help, let me know. I don't understand that modern audience is garbage. It sounds like the source material is from the 18th century. A lot of the audience is still the same and maybe doesn't want that modernization. I 100% agree, and I have said this in many videos. We're not talking, I mean, we're talking about, like, 10, 20 years in a lot of cases. We're not talking about stuff from hundreds of years ago that needs to be modernized. The audience from then is still the same audience as now. Most people want the same exact things in their entertainment. It's not like we're talking about, right, stuff that is from hundreds of years ago that needs to be changed. Like, no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about, in some cases, 15 years, 20 years. Like, we're not talking about, I mean, like with KOTOR, we're talking 20 years. We're not talking 100 years here. Kotaku is pissy about Lost Ark's female designs. Well, I think that it's fucking hilarious that I do. I think that it's fucking hilarious that Kotaku and game journalists are mad that Lost Ark has sexy female characters, yet they do not give a fuck about the fact that if you are a free-to-play player and you do not spend money on the pay-to-win items in the game, how literally it's been shown by YouTubers that you can never ever catch up to people that spend money. So if you are a free-to-play player, you will never be able to max out your character. And these journalists are also not talking about the fact that the game has been censored to shit in the Western versions. That's why I didn't start playing it. I love MMOs, do not fucking get me wrong. I was gonna give Lost Ark a try, but the game is censored. There's tons of censorship between outfits, character designs, and as a free-to-play player, unless you spend money on the pay-to-win systems, you literally can never catch up to the people who spend real money. There's so many other fucking things to complain about. But the way that female characters look, that's the best thing that they felt that they could complain about. How fucking dumb. So stupid. So stupid. Also, give me 1 second, guys. In my dashboard, in my YouTube dashboard, it's saying there's 1 new member, but there wasn't a notification for a new member. Right? Am I crazy? It says 1 new member. I didn't see anything pop up saying, hey, I'm a new member. What the fuck, YouTube? You trying to throw me off here? What the hell, YouTube? Weird. If it was anyone in chat, let me know. Could have been from a video, maybe? Just because I'm live? It says it in my dashboard. I was wondering why you didn't play Lost Ark. Yeah, 2 months ago I had made a video about how basically there were outfits that were removed from the Western version of the game. There were creative developers or members of the creative team that were saying, oh no, they're in the game. They never proved that those outfits were still in the game. They changed the skin color of a bunch of different characters and the way that a bunch of different NPCs and characters talked. And they basically westernized our version of the game. And to boot, there's pay-to-win mechanics in the game. And unless you pay money, you can never catch up to people who actually pay, which is ridiculous. That's why I didn't support the game. If it was just one thing, like, hey, we changed the skin color of some NPCs, maybe I'd feel a little differently. But there's problem after problem after problem after problem, which is why I didn't play it. 'Cause you guys know, I will still stream a game if it's got a lot of interest, a lot of people want to see it. Even if the developers say something or do something I don't really support, because ultimately I'm creating content for you guys, and if you want to see me play a game, I will play the game. But yeah, there's pay-to-win shit in it. They censored outfits. They changed NPC designs to be more westernized. I mean, there's problems after problems after problems. Oh yeah, I did a Cat, because yeah, I saw your post. I did at the beginning of stream talk about the Cyberpunk situation. So they released the 1.5 update today, and they added apartments. They added a whole new overhauled driving system. They added guns, outfits, and fixed a bunch of stuff in the game. I right this second am not planning to play a new playthrough of Cyberpunk, but I was thinking maybe in like a month or something after Horizon Forbidden West and Elden Ring and Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise come out, maybe after that I would do a new playthrough of Cyberpunk. If you guys want to see that streamed, let me know. But maybe. Yeah, I had made the video showing the side-by-side versions of the censored and non-censored outfits. And that also had showed a couple of characters where their races were swapped. The NPCs, their races were swapped. But in that initial article, there was only like 5 maybe NPCs that were changed. Their skin colors were changed. But they're apparently in the new version of the game, and I've seen it, there's a shit ton more. Like, it's literally not just like, oh, one group of you know, NPCs were changed. I mean, there's a lot of changes. A lot of them. I do agree, Vargas, Cyberpunk updates and improvements have been super slow, but better late than never. And I agree. I would rather them keep working really hard, make the game good. Because I had streamed Cyberpunk and played Cyberpunk when it initially came out. And I enjoyed my time, don't get me wrong, but I was disappointed with a lot of things I felt it was missing. But I would much rather them continue to try, keep fixing the game, make new content, make it as amazing as they possibly can. But yeah, maybe in like a month or two, I will replay Cyberpunk 2077 because I want to give it a fair chance. If they fix it and they do a bunch of changes, and maybe they do even more before then, I'm up for it. Yeah, I'm glad CDPR isn't abandoning Cyberpunk. I'm glad that they are sticking to it. I really hope they can turn it around and make a No Man's Sky and Final Fantasy XIV situation out of it. Those games initially launched and did really bad. A lot of people were disappointed, but they've worked for years and years and years on those games, and they have fixed them so fucking much. I really hope that CD Projekt Red can do that with Cyberpunk. But alright, you guys, in a minute we're going to move on to the next topic of the evening, which is going to be... dun-dun-dun-dun, Lord of the Rings. Actually, do we want Lord of the Rings or Horizon Forbidden West first? So this was the first round of DLC for Cyberpunk. It didn't add any new areas, but it did add a whole new overworked driving system. It added new customizations, like hairstyles, outfits, cosmetics. It added new guns. So it added a brand new apartment system as well. So while there was and there was also new quests in it. So while it wasn't like a whole new area or anything, they did add quite a bit with this first round of DLC. And it is free, which is great. I hope it's enough though, you know? I don't know if it's gonna be enough. Only time will tell. This update was 63 gigabytes, I think I saw someone say. Yeah, I believe that this update was 63 gigs, so it's pretty hefty. It's pretty sizable. But okay, guys, let's move into the next topic of the evening, which is going to be Lord of the Rings. Now, as you guys know, I've talked about Lord of the Rings a lot here on the channel. In the past, now, in the present, in the future, I'll be talking about it more. I love Tolkien's work. I love Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, The Silmarillion. I've got The Hobbit in the Lord of the Rings books here. I have a Lord of the Rings special edition behind me. That's all the Lord of the Rings books in one. It's a special edition. Those are the individuals. The Hobbit's there too. I have the Silmarillion right here next to me. I love Tolkien's work. And I am someone who initially was very excited about this TV show being made. I was really hoping for some good Tolkien content. I was really, really hoping that it would come out and be amazing. But the more we've seen and heard about it, the less optimistic I'm feeling about it. At this point, I feel like Amazon's The Lord of the Rings is going to be a Game of Thrones light. From the trailers we've seen, the short teaser trailers, it's seemed very generic fantasy and not that impressive to me. And of course, ever since they announced story changes, now they were messing with the timelines, they were adding new non-Tolkien characters to Tolkien stories, they were adding a lot of different changes to the lore, like how dwarven women looked. A lot of people have been very fucking furious over the new Lord of the Rings series, and I completely understand why. I also am very, very disappointed with a lot of the changes that they're making and how they're not following the source material that is absolutely fucking amazing. But I wanted to talk about things that I've talked about between live streams and a video, which are the fact that people are so furious over the series and all the changes that they're making, and how fan sites are torching the new series. So guys, let's start with this article. It says, after attacking fans, Amazon Studios' first The Lord of the Rings of Power trailer gets roasted on YouTube with a quote attributed to J.R.R. Tolkien. I think that this is too funny. It's so nice to see everyone come together and collectively fucking hate the look of this show. There are some people out there who think that it looks great, and if you think so, good for you. Awesome. Glad you enjoy the way that it looks so far. But a lot of Tolkien fans are very disappointed. Thank you for the $5 super chat. One Vara to rule them all. Yep, that's true. That's me. What can I say? One Dark Lord to rule them all. So Prime Video and Amazon Studios released their first trailer for The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, during the Super Bowl, and it was quickly roasted with a quote attributed to Tolkien. I'm a fucking Tolkien simp, guys. I know you all know this at this point, but again... Oh, you know what else I have next to me, guys? The 200... Okay, maybe... Okay, listen. I've got all the books, the special edition Lord of the Rings hardcover book. I've got the Silmarillion. I've got the $250 collector's edition movie set. 31 motherfucking discs, Ultimate Collector's Edition. 20th anniversary. Everyone, there's some select people out there who say I'm a fake fan. Yeah, guys, I'm really a fake Tolkien fan. That's me, the fakest of the fake. Just spending thousands of dollars here on fucking Tolkien merchandise, holy shit. It says Polish, English, Russian, and the Lord of the Rings fans across the world repeated the phrase, evil cannot create anything new, it can only distort and destroy what was invented or created by the forces of good, attributing it to the Lord of the Rings creator Tolkien. It says the quote appears to be a paraphrase from The Lord of the Rings Return of the King, where Frodo tells Sam, the shadow that bred them can only mock, it cannot make only real new things of its own. I do not think that it gave life to the orcs, it only ruined them and twisted them. This is truly a beautiful quote that people are now using against Amazon in this series. This series is, as far as we know, costing them over $1 billion. For $1 billion, I expect a series that follows source material, that looks gorgeous, no fucking flaws, right? We're all very worried, though. And, it's not looking that promising and that amazing at this point. It's very worrying. I know in my videos and live streams, I've pointed out a lot of the problems that we've seen so far. Fake geek girl, that's me, guys. Ooh, ooh, I'm a fake geek girl. What can I say? That's me. Of course, though, here are just some of the comments on the video itself. And let me bring up the video to see what the ratio is at right now, because they've been ratioed on their new trailer. But Amazon's Lord of the Rings trailer. Let me bring it up. Why didn't it pop up? Trailer. Teaser trailer? Do I have to type it? Is this it? So this is the one from the normal North American Prime Video. And as you can see, it's almost ratioed. It's 84k likes to 57k dislikes. But let me bring up the one from the UK account, because they have like 4 different accounts, guys. It's absolutely fucking nuts. So this one is getting completely ratioed. This version of the trailer is at 21k likes to 37k dislikes. Absolutely ratioed. Absolutely. And of course, a big reason that I've seen why people are commenting in different languages is because initially comments were being deleted. English comments were being removed. So they started commenting it in different languages, and for some reason those ones weren't being removed. Hey, whatever gets the message across, right? But there are all different kinds of people commenting this quote in different languages. And it says, of course, there were plenty of English speakers commenting it as well. Evil is not able to create anything new, and evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt and ruin what good forces have invented or made. Lots of outrage. But it says not only are fans expressing their disgust with Prime Video and Amazon Studios' trailer, the trailer only has 58,000 total likes despite being viewed over 6.6 million times. There's a lot of people that clearly are not interacting with it while it is getting lots of views, and while it has some likes and a lot of dislikes. For some reason, there's not as much interaction as you'd expect. And here's another article that I'd read in a video. But it says Lord of the Rings fan site torches Amazon's new Lord of the Rings of Power series. Even fan sites are roasting Amazon right now. And this is from the OneRing.com. Do not be confused with the OneRing.net. The OneRing.net has gotten exclusive scoops and early scoops about this series. They've basically been sucking Amazon's dick over this series. But the OneRing.com, which is also pretty sizable, has eviscerated the show for its utter disregard for Tolkien's writing. It says, read the Vanity Fair article, and there's a lot of red flags. So they had said, Amazon, but really does it feel like Middle-earth if you don't have hobbits or something like hobbits in it? Tolkien, but there are, I fear, no hobbits in the Silmarillion. While we all love hobbits, I love hobbits, you love hobbits, most of us love hobbits, it is true. There should not be hobbits in this series. That's just the way that he wrote it, that's just the way that it ended up, and that's just the way that that shit goes. It says, Amazon, this is material that sometimes is scary, but it's also heartwarming and life-affirming and optimistic. It's about friendship and it's about brotherhood and underdogs overcoming great darkness. Tolkien, in the Silmarillion, there is little fun or earthliness, but mostly grief and disaster. Again! Different fucking changes. Yeah, we'd all love a good old, nice, heartwarming, optimistic story filled with love and friendship and fucking gross bullshit. Yeah, whatever. But that's not what this should be about. There shouldn't be love and heartwarming and optimism. It should be dark, death, decay. And it's not. They're changing it. Why do you take something so sacred and just twist it around? Makes me so sad. Man, what the fuck? Stupid fucking dickheads. Stop fucking up Tolkien's work, you pieces of shit. Amazon, it only felt natural to us that an adaptation of Tolkien's work would reflect what the world actually looks like. Motherfucker, if I wanted to see what the world really looked like, I wouldn't read Tolkien's work. I would go watch a documentary. This is not what Tolkien's work was ever about. Tolkien's work is not supposed to represent modern audiences and appeal to modern audiences, and it's not supposed to be this. If you want to go make a story about elves and dwarves and orcs, and you want it to represent modern audiences and reflect what the world actually looks like, feel free, but don't do it with Tolkien's creations. Jesus Christ. Galadriel is a commander of the northern armies. Galadriel is hunting down the last remnants of their collaborators who claimed the life of her brother. Tolkien. Looking. Tell me when you find that part where she leads armies into battle. It's so half-assed fucking backwards the way that they're doing this, and it pisses me off so badly. This pisses me off so badly because they're taking feminine characters and making them masculine. And they're taking characters that are supposed to be masculine and they're making them feminine. So they're taking Galadriel, who is a very feminine character. She's an elf. She wears flowy dresses, has her hair down, looks very pretty, doesn't lead armies into battle. And they're making her much more masculine. They're putting her in armor. They're making her command armies. But with the Dwarven princess, a character that's supposed to be masculine because Dwarven women are supposed to look almost exactly the same as Dwarven men. They're supposed to have beards. They're supposed to be muscular. They're making that character feminine. They're putting her in a nice flowy dress, and they gave her a nice pretty hairstyle, and they gave her in her picture what looked like golden flaky dandruff. And she doesn't have a beard. It's so backwards the way that they're treating these female characters. It doesn't make me want to respect these writers, these costume designers, anyone who's doing the screenplay. It makes me not respect you because it's like you're specifically doing things to piss off real Tolkien fans. You're doing everything backwards because you know it's going to piss people off and that's all that you want, and it's pathetic. So fucking stupid. There's also so much more, like forbidden romances. And like I've talked about with the forbidden romances, I think that it's fine to put romance in this. Like, I'm not against romances. I'm not. But they're starting with this, forbidden romance to try to make it relatable. Oh, sometimes people in the real world are just too opposite and people don't want to see them together. It's horseshit. Okay, let's put it this way. If there is a forbidden romance in this book, feel free to put it in the show. Otherwise, don't. Is it that difficult to understand? My God. Amazon. Guys, Amazon. Amazon decided to take this. Amazon decided to take this little book right here and water it down so much that it was this right here. No one wants a Game of Thrones light. Is it that hard to understand? I like Game of Thrones. Don't fucking get me wrong. The Game of Thrones books were really freaking good. But my God, all you're giving us is a Game of Thrones light. That's all that they're doing. Anyway, guys, that's all that I had to talk about with Lord of the Rings. I'm losing my will to live. The depression is seeping inside of me. My will to live, it's getting lower. I'm sipping that depresso espresso right now. So that's all that I had to talk about with Lord of the Rings, guys. I'm sure in the next couple days, weeks, months, we're going to hear so much more about this series. And I'm going to give it a try. When it comes out, I'm going to watch it. But you best fucking believe, if this series is bad, I am going to roast the living shit out of it. I am going to roast it so fucking hard. We'll see. I'm gonna give it a fair shot. Maybe it'll be great. Maybe it'll be amazing. It'll be fantastic. I highly doubt it, though. These people are fucking clowns and don't know how to write good shows. Okay, next topic of the evening. The final topic of the evening is gonna be Horizon Forbidden West. Why you don't give in to Outrage, reason 11,436. Well, guys, would you be surprised if I said game journalists who got things changed in a show, in a game, are now mad that more things are not changed in the game that they want? Guys, really quickly, if you're enjoying the live stream, give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Donate via Streamlabs. All donations pop up. $3 or more text-to-speech activates. Become a member via YouTube memberships. Become a Dark Titan via Patreon. If you support, next week I will be doing my monthly supporter-only live stream, and you will get access to that. Thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming to my Titan Talk. Moving on. Listen, I could literally sit here and rant for a full 24 hours about Lord of the Rings. I'm not going to right now until the show comes out. But I could sit here and go through so many different rants. Chat. So, guys, over the past few months, there have been game journalists who had initially complained about Horizon Forbidden West and them making Aloy potentially look too feminine. There were game journalists who were mad at Aloy's original design in Horizon Zero Dawn and were hoping that they would change her design going into the second game. And they did. They ended up making her look a little bit more chubby, a little bit more masculine. They changed a lot about the way that she looked, even some of the clothes.
TGD donated $5.
Thank you for the $5 donation. Much
Vara.
appreciated. And they were mad how, oh, on some of the armor sets, you could see some of the skin. You could see her arms. You could see her stomach. They were furious that they made her too feminine in the first game, basically. And they complained so much that the developers, going into the second game, decided to change the way that she looked. And for me, I didn't really see too much of a problem with it, because I definitely think that, yes, they did a little too much. But, like, she aged by a couple of years, so she's gonna look a little bit different, maybe a bit more masculine. But they basically just made her look a little bit more chubby, which I was like, we'll see what the game actually turns out to be. But game journalists got their way. They were mad in the first game. She was a little too feminine. They got their way with the second game because they were changing the way that she looked. And of course, the game journalists have found something else to complain about. Because now the journalists, who they pandered to and bent over backwards to, are accusing the game of a Native American cultural appropriation. I wish I could say I was surprised. When you give these people an inch, they take a mile. You change something that they want you to change, and yet they find something else to complain about. With the review embargo lifted for the long-awaited Horizon Forbidden West, a number of industry outlets have made public their accusations that the game is guilty of appropriating Native American culture. This game does come out this week, guys. It comes out on Friday, and I will be live streaming it. Someone did donate a copy. I don't know who donated a copy, because they bought it off the Amazon wishlist. And Amazon doesn't tell me who bought it, so thank you to whoever bought it. But someone did purchase a copy for the channel, so this weekend I will be streaming Horizon Forbidden West and showing off the game and giving you guys my genuine thoughts on it. Because I try to play things, even if I think they initially sound kind of meh, I'm skeptical. I still try them. But it's as a sequel to 2017's Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West once again puts players in control of Aloy. This time she leads a group of fellow Nora tribe members to discover the source of a mystery plague that has begun emanating from the Forbidden West. We don't know too much about the story. I haven't watched any of, like, the deep dive videos and the explanations of the story because I want to go into it pretty blind. I kind of don't want to know too much about the story just because I want to experience it myself. But it says, given that both games take place in a post-apocalyptic world, the Horizon series human characters exist as nomadic peoples, many of them reverting to hunter-gatherer societies after the world's knowledge was lost and its population was decimated by corrupted peacekeeping robots. That was the whole point of the first game. Aloy didn't really know much about the world before, and she was learning about it, and she became very knowledgeable throughout it. It was a good game. The first Horizon Zero Dawn game, in my opinion, was very good. But it says, unsurprisingly, it is this nomadic setting that the usual industry offenders have taken offense to, believing that near-primitive depictions of the game's humans and their lifestyles to have been culturally appropriated from the lives and histories of Native American peoples. Of course. Of course. When you give them an inch, they take a mile. They complained about one thing. You changed that one thing. And yet they found something else to complain about. What? Guys, what the fuck is this? What is this ad that I'm getting? The Samsung S22? That looks like a fucking spider. That's 6 cameras. What are you doing? What? Why do you need the ad went away? Why do you need 6 cameras? Holy shit. Why do you need 6 lenses? Okay. That looks crazy. In the post-apocalyptic USA that forms the world of the Horizon games, the remaining humans have been pushed back to the Stone Age or something, the writer said. The way that they wrote this, guys, it's like they've been pushed back to the Stone Age or something. Great description, or something. Very good journalism. They are now divided into a series of clans and tribes whose attire borrows from Native Americans, among others. Aloy can don these too, but most of the people wearing them, including Aloy, look and, more importantly, and sound like modern-day white people. Oh, brother! Oh, brother! Listen to this writer. Gadgets 360. Fucking who? I'm sorry. Okay. I don't know who they are, though. If we were to go through an apocalypse, okay, and technology was completely destroyed, and you didn't have electricity anymore, like, say, sewing machines, thousands of people making clothes every single day, you probably would have to revert to wearing pretty simple attire that people might decorate and change in their own way, so it would be more of their style. Is it that hard to explain? Is it that hard to understand? And yes, the original game did have attire that looked very similar to Native American wear. I personally have not seen any Native Americans complain that, oh no, they stole our look. They're appropriating us. So, you're complaining about it. But years ago, that wasn't a complaint. So now you're complaining for people that are not complaining. And a big part of this is that, oh no, they sound like modern-day white people. So that's the problem. Racism at its finest. Oh no, they're white people. That's not a good look, he continued. Who asked? Who asked for your opinion? First, the natives were literally erased by white people, and now their clothing is being adopted by them. Again, like I said, it's... First of all, let's just lay out the basis here. It's a video game. Okay, it's a fictional setting in a fictional world with fictional circumstances. But I don't see really anyone else complaining about the way that these characters are dressed. This is a few steps beyond cultural appropriation. What? Horizon Zero Dawn armor. Guys. That armor, yes, looks loosely inspired by Native American wear, but she's got fucking LED lights on her armor. She looks like one of those lights that you have in a closet. That looks like one of those lights that you have in a closet that you tap so that the light comes on and it's like almost a night light. She's got like 7 of them on her. I mean, those are just sequins. Those are straight up sequins. Yes, clearly, some of the armor, it's kind of inspired by Native American wear, but it's not like they took literal designs and copy and pasted them into the game. Like, clearly these are fictionalized outfits. I mean, she's got sequins. She's got LED lights. on her armor. And of course, they give no examples of things that they say are offensive. No examples of, oh, this is one of the outfits. Oh, that's one of the outfits. Of course, the gamer editor-in-chief, the first Horizon title, only had 2 serious faults for me. The story was weak. I completely disagree. And the whole game engaged in Native American cosplay. So guys, as you can see, oh no, the journalists are mad again. I'm gonna talk about this, I think, in a video tomorrow, chat, unless something else happens. So that's all that I really had to discuss with Horizon Forbidden West. Like I said, I will be streaming it this weekend when it launches. I'm gonna be giving it a shot, giving it a chance. We'll see how it goes. But of course, the game journalists are mad, accusing a game of something and providing no real good arguments or proof. So that's all that I had to discuss tonight. Horizon Forbidden West, Lord of the Rings, Sam Mags, and KOTOR Remake, and Ubisoft. Guys, I am going to stick around for a little bit. So if you have any questions to ask me, feel free to leave them in chat. If you have any topics you want me to discuss, feel free to leave them in chat. I'd be happy to answer anything that you guys have. Quickly, though, if you're enjoying the stream, give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Donate via Streamlabs. All donos pop up. $3 or more text-to-speech activates. Become a member via YouTube memberships. Become a supporter over on Patreon. All the links are in the description. Thank you for being here. So, guys, ask away questions or raise topics, and I'll talk about them. She has more lights on her armor than the new Samsung has camera lenses. Like, what the fuck is that camera? Samsung S22. Listen, guys. This thing looks like a fucking spider. What is that? It looks like a spider. It's too many for me. That's one too many. My god. Disco Aloy, basically. Like, yeah, a lot of her armor does look inspired by Native American wear, sure. But it's a video game. It's fictional characters in a fictional world wearing fictional things. I mean, Aloy has a fucking Inspector Gadget eye patch on that lets her see things in, like, night vision. That lets her see the stats of creatures. It's different. It's not the same. My goodness. Spider vision. Oh, the spidey senses are tingling. Did you watch Nightmare Alley? Not yet. I haven't, no. I do plan to watch it soon, though. Oh, guys, in the mail, I purchased, The Wheel of Time. I purchased the first 3 books. So tonight, and over the next couple days, I'm going to be starting and reading The Wheel of Time for the first time. Because I wanted to read The Wheel of Time before I watched the whole show. Because I know that there's a lot of differences. And a long time ago, I had read, like, the first book, but I never... It's been a long time, and I don't remember all the details, so I wanted to go back through them. Knights of the Old Republic remake doesn't really need to start from scratch. It was already a good story and the game was well made. It only really needs Unreal Engine 4 with upscaling added, unimproved plans, etc. I agree. I feel like they don't really need to change a lot. They basically just need to take everything and remake it. Just in a new engine. Like, the story's good. There are some slight things that they could maybe add, like new NPCs, new quests, stuff like that, for sure. I'm all for that. But as long as they're not changing combat, they're not changing the main story, they're not changing the characters around, I hope it'll be good. Are we gonna get a live read? No. No live read. I'm so jealous to be able to be experiencing reading Wheel of Time for the first time again. Yeah, I had got the first 3 books, because there's a lot of them. 15 or 16 of them. So I just got the first couple of them, so that I can read through them. Yeah, I personally would have been fine with a remaster of KOTOR. I am happy that they're doing a remake. I just really, really hope they don't fuck it up. I personally do not like the new Apex collection event. I am so sick of them making such shitty skins. 301 skins are fucking dog shit in the game. They have very, very few skins for a lot of the other good weapons, like the Havoc, Charge Rifle, Sentinel. Like, there's so few good skins for so many of the guns. So many of the character skins are awful, too. I'm just disappointed with Apex lately and the cosmetics that they've been shoving into the game. It's like they're doing the least amount of work possible in the worst way possible. It's very unfortunate, because I love Apex. Apex is really, really fucking fun. And I do really like Apex, but I feel like they've been doing such a mediocre job lately with events, with skins. It's a shame. It is a shame. Yeah, so Horizon Forbidden West has gotten really positive reviews and scores so far from what I've seen. Except for the people complaining about things like, oh, it's being accused of cultural appropriation. Yeah, 14 with a prequel and 2 companion volumes. Yeah, I knew that there was like 14 or 15 in the main line, and then there were a couple of other various ones. There's a lot to get through, chat. There's a lot to get through. I'll get through them, though. Sometime here. Soon, maybe. Do you think we can force Amazon to do a redo of this woke shit and give us real Lord of the Rings? Fuck no. They've spent over $1 billion on this series. Over $1 billion. There's no possible way that they are going to cancel this series and remake it. There's no fucking possible way. Absolutely 0% chance. That we are getting this, and we just have to hope that it's better than what we expect. I don't mean to be the killjoyer over here, the bearer of bad news, but there's like a 1% chance, if that they would ever even consider redoing it. There's no way that they're gonna do it. No way. I never played this game, Horizon. When I played Killzone, that was an underrated game. Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game, was, in my opinion, pretty good. I did really enjoy it. I was a fan of it. I did think that at times some of the narrative choices were a little iffy. I wish that there were like more male characters in it, because it was mainly just female characters. But it's just the way that everything was. It was the way the story was. It wasn't bad. I felt like some of the dialogue was a little iffy, but for the most part, it was a pretty good game. I'd give the first Horizon Zero Dawn game like a 8 out of 10. That was pretty good. 10 more days until Elden Ring. I know. Sheesh. Can't wait. This weekend's Horizon Forbidden West. I'm gonna rip through that game this weekend, guys. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then next week, probably one day, and then Elden Ring is next weekend, and I'm gonna have to rip through Elden Ring as well. What day does Elden Ring come out? Is it the 25th or the 26th? Elden Ring release... it's the 25th. Okay, it's on the Friday. I wasn't sure if it was on the Friday or Saturday. So I was reading somewhere that it came out on it was coming out on Saturday. I was like, what? The DLC, Frozen Wilds, was also pretty good, yeah. Yeah, but they only have the first season. Better than to be canceled after the first season. There's no way. I'm sorry. Believe me, guys. I want this series to be good. I do not think that they are going to remake this first season, and I do not think that they are not going to renew it. I mean, they got Lord of the Rings. Like, they are going to milk that shit for all that they can. At least I think. We'll see. How many days do you plan to play Elden Ring? I am going to be doing a full playthrough of Elden Ring. The first couple days that it's out, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be for sure streaming it. And then, of course, like, my schedule would go back to normal. So, like, at the end of the week and probably the weekend after, I'd also be playing and probably finishing Elden Ring. And then, doing, if we haven't finished Horizon Zero Dawn, then finishing Horizon Zero Dawn. But I'll be doing a full playthrough of Elden Ring on the channel. It's just, it's a longer game, so it's not going to be able to be done in, like, 3 days. I believe they said the average playthrough is, like, 30 hours. So, yeah. But alright, you guys, I'm going to wrap up the stream in a minute. Last call. If you're enjoying the stream, give it a like. If you're not, give it a dislike. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Donate. Follow me on social media, all that fun stuff. It's sad that Christopher Tolkien isn't around to safeguard the series. Yeah, you know, it's always hard to know how things would be now, like if he was still around. It's a very difficult thing, because on one hand, you'd hope that it might go in a better direction, creative input, but at the same time, there's only so much you can expect, so it's really hard to dwell on things like that. I wish he was still around to be able to look over it and look after it, basically, but yeah. Hopefully not. Hopefully it flops like it's destined to. Lord of the Rings? Obviously, only time will tell with that. But if it's as bad as we think it's going to be, one part of me wants to say I hope it doesn't flop, because I love Lord of the Rings, and I love the work, and I want it to be really good and successful, but at the same time, I don't really have that much hope in it. So it's such a back and forth. Because I want it to be good, I want it to be successful, but I also know it probably won't be, and it's probably going to be a bit of a disaster. So it's kind of that push and pull. I want to be hopeful, I want to be optimistic, I want to be gung-ho about it, but I'm also a realistic person. And, we don't always get the things in life that we want. You know what I'm saying, chat? We don't always. It's the way the cookie crumbles, if you know what I'm saying. I don't find Aloy that different in appearance. Gamers were yapping about her being chubby. It's a dumb name for a character. Yeah. Obviously, we've only seen a couple of screen grabs of the way that she looks now. I'll judge her model when the game fully and officially comes out. I do think that they changed her character model quite a bit from the images that we've seen. I expected her to look a little different. She looks pretty different. But, yeah. It's just a fan fiction, basically. Only time will tell. Maybe it'll come out and it'll be amazing. I'm still gonna give it a chance. I'm still gonna try to give it a shot like I do with literally everything. But I'm not feeling very good about it right now. But alright, you guys. I'm going to wrap up the live stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by tonight. I do really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the stream, give it a like. If you didn't, give it a dislike. Check out the links in the description. Follow me on social media. Twitter, Minds, BitChute, Odyssey, Getter. Join our Discord server. We are very active there. I do tag you all when I go live in case YouTube doesn't notify you of the live streams. We have tons of different channels. We have history and politics, rants and rambles. We have video games. We have novels. We have a lot of different channels, so join over there. Check out the links in the description. YouTube memberships, consider becoming a member, and also check out Patreon. I have a bunch of different tiers. All the support really does help. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the stream here, guys. Check out the past couple days worth of videos if you haven't seen them already. I talked about Martha is Dead. I talked about Lord of the Rings. Lots of different things. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and have a fantastic evening, everyone.